Today, Chabad owns Russia.
Chabad owns Russia? Chabad is everything in Russia?
Until today, Chabad owns Russia. Putin is a Chabadnik.
So here's why you never believe anything that Israel ever says. Why? Because always they're lying. There are no bigger criminal, psychopathic liars in the world than Zionists. And this guy is going to let you know, after murdering Anas al-Sharif and 4 other Al Jazeera journalists in a strike on their tent, Israel claimed Gaza's most prominent journalist of the past 22 months was also moonlighting as a Hamas fighter. So this guy, Mohammed Shihad, shows exactly how much value Israel claims have. So this is why you never believe anything your government ever tells you, and certainly nothing the Israel government says. Listen to this litany of lies that they've lied.
One thing that you need to keep in mind is Israel has been lying incessantly since the beginning of the genocide. It's been the cornerstone of Israel's genocidal campaign to lie every single day about everything possible and to come up with the most lunatic lies possible, imaginable. Israel lied about massacring the ambulance workers in Rafah. They lied about the GHF massacres. They lied about the Shifa hospital, the Flower massacre, the beheaded babies, Hamad hospital, Hind Rajab, the terror list at the Rantisi hospital that turned out to be a calendar, the World Central Kitchen workers, babies in ovens, white phosphorus, deliberately starving Gazans, Sinwar surrounding himself with 20 hostages in a tunnel, gassing hostages, the Ahli hospital, killing women and children with white flags, mass raping Palestinians, non-existent tunnels under graveyards, Nasser hospital, Hussam Abu Safiya, mass graves, snipers targeting kids in the heads, providing protection to criminal gangs that are looting aid systematically. Israel also lied about wiping out Gaza incrementally, gradually. They lied about refusing and collapsing the ceasefire, blowing up Gazans fleeing now south, blowing up and destroying Kamal Adwan hospital, claiming that dead Gazan children are fake plastic dolls, creating alleged safe zones that they push the people into and they bomb them once they get there. They lied about the general's plan. They lied about how many Hamas militants they killed, about the Red Crescent taking part in October 7th. That was another lie. They lied about how many journalists they've killed, and they lied about designating previous journalists as Hamas militants. They lied about Muhammad Abu Salmiya, the head of the Shifa hospital. They lied about the Indonesian hospital, about UNRWA, Al-Auda hospital, killing women sheltering at a church, bombing the church again, bombing another church, destroying every single university in Gaza, destroying the overwhelming majority of schools in Gaza, blowing up Gaza's Turkish cancer hospital, the sole cancer hospital in Gaza. They lied about Hamas hiding giant stockpiles of fuel in Rafah and Hamas looting aid. They lied about finding active smuggling tunnels in Rafah. They lied about hostages that would return pregnant. And they lied about who killed Yussi Sharabi, Itai Sivrisky, and other hostages as well that the IDF themselves killed. And after all these lies, Israel comes up and says, but trust us, our next lie will be 100% true. Trust us. You should attach as much value to Israel's allegations about Anas al-Sharif as you attach to the dust on the floor. Because without lies at this stage, without lies, Israel's narrative dies completely. It's the only way they can sustain the genocide.
Without lies, the Zionist narrative just collapses completely. It's all based on lies. The whole thing, from the beginning of Israel, from the Balfour Declaration to the 1948 to everything.
Yeah, it's a lot like America. I'd hate to see the least moral army in the world after that.
Yep. And so,
shut about Putin forever. Anybody who mentions Putin to me, I'm going to have a conniption.
It's almost like God made them bad at the only thing they do, which is lying.
No, they used to be good at it, but once you get so arrogant, you think you don't have to even have plausible deniability anymore. You're that arrogant, which all these assholes.
Yep.
They're all that arrogant. That what you're even still talking about Epstein?
Yeah.
They're that fucking arrogant.
Yep. And so someone put Haliflo put a list of all the lies that he just mentioned, and there they are: massacring ambulance workers, the GHF massacre, the Shifa massacre, the Flower massacre, beheaded babies claim, Hamad hospital. It just keeps going on. There they are. Destroying all universities in Gaza, destroying most of... So, they're good at lying. They're very good at lying. Israel's military targeted and killed Al Jazeera correspondent and others with an airstrike late Sunday in Gaza after press advocates said an Israeli smear campaign stepped up when Anas al-Sharif cried on air over starvation in the territory. Both Israel and hospital officials in Gaza both confirmed the deaths of the al-Sharif and his colleagues, which the Committed to Protect Journalists and others described as retribution against those documenting the war in Gaza. Israel's military asserted that the al-Sharif had led a Hamas cell, an allegation that Al Jazeera and al-Sharif previously dismissed as baseless. The military has previously said it targeted individuals it describes as Hamas militants, posing as reporters. Observers have called this the deadliest conflict for journalists in modern times. Who knew that every independent journalist in Gaza also happened to be a Hamas militant, only posing as a reporter? Isn't that something? Officials at Shifa Hospital said those killed while sheltering outside Gaza City's largest hospital complex also included Al Jazeera's correspondent Mohamed Origik, plus 4 other journalists and 2 other people. 5 of the 6 slain journalists were Al Jazeera staffers. The airstrike occurred hours after Israel Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu defended a planned military offensive into some of Gaza's most populated areas, including Gaza City, and said he directed the military to bring in more foreign journalists to Gaza. The strikes came less than a year after Israeli army officials first accused al-Sharif and other Al Jazeera journalists of being members of the militant group Hamas and Islamic Jihad. In a July 24 video, Israel's army spokesperson attacked Al Jazeera and accused al-Sharif of being part of Hamas's military wing. Al-Sharif and his employer denied the allegations as baseless. Condemnation has poured in from the UN Human Rights Office, the Foreign Press Association, the Committee to Protect Journalists, the International Press Institute, and Amnesty International. Al Jazeera called the strike a targeted assassination and accused Israeli officials of incitement connecting al-Sharif's death to allegations that both the network and the correspondent had denied. Anas and his colleagues were among the last remaining voices from within Gaza, providing the world with unfiltered, on-the-ground coverage of the devastating realities endured by its people, the Qatari network said in a statement. Apart from rare invitations to observe Israeli military operations, international media have been barred from entering Gaza for the duration of the war. Al Jazeera is among the few outlets still fielding a big team of reporters inside the besieged strip, chronicling daily life amid airstrikes, hunger, and the rubble-destroyed neighborhoods. Al Jazeera is blocked in Israel, and soldiers raided its offices in the occupied West Bank last year. Israel, at the time, ordered the closure of its local offices while preventing the broadcast of its reports and blocking its websites. The network has suffered heavy losses during the war, including a 27-year-old correspondent, Ismail Al-Ghul, and cameraman Rami Al-Rifi, killed last summer, and freelancer Hassam Shabbat, killed in an Israeli airstrike in March. Like Al-Sharif, Shabbat was among the 6 that Israel accused of being members of a militant group last October. Only a journalist that is a Hamas fighter, or that is, at the time of attack, directly participating in hostilities, can be intentionally targeted. Alerting the world to the starvation of civilians, reporting on Israelis' military conduct in Gaza, even disseminating pro-Hamas propaganda, none of this would count as direct participation in hostilities, said Janina Dill, a professor of global security at a University of Oxford. She added that evidence is mounting that Israel considers anyone who it believes is a Hamas member to be a legitimate target. I do not consider this a reasonable interpretation of international humanitarian law, Dill said. The Committee to Protect Journalists said on Monday that at least 192 journalists have been killed since Israel's war in Gaza began. Sunday's strike brings the total number of Al Jazeera staff journalists killed during the war to 11, not including 8 freelancers. That would be 19. So the UN said that the killings were part of a deliberate strategy of Israel to suppress the truth, obstruct the documentation of international crimes, and bury any possibility of future accountability. In a social media post that Al Jazeera said was written to be posted in case of his death, Al-Sharif bemoaned the devastation and destruction that war had brought and bid farewell to his wife, his son, and daughter. He began reporting for Al Jazeera a few days after the war broke out. He was known for reporting on Israel's bombardment in northern Gaza and later for the starvation gripping much of the territory's population. In a July broadcast, Al-Sharif cried on air as a woman behind him collapsed from hunger. I'm talking about slow death of those people, he said at the time. Anas Al-Sharif and his colleagues have been the eyes and voices of Gaza. Starved and exhausted, they continued to bravely report from the front lines despite death threats and immense grief, Amnesty International said in a statement Monday, adding that there must be an independent, impartial investigation into the killings of Palestinian journalists. Well, good luck with that.
Yeah, I would stay away from this one, guys. I'll be the
yeah.
I'll be the chief. You don't want a piece of this investigation.
No. So there you go. And if you don't laugh, you'll cry. And if you want to hear my jokes about this horrible genocide machine called Zionist Israel, you can come see me in Rutherford, New Jersey, Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, Appleton, Wisconsin, Fort Wayne, Indiana, Louisville, and Chicago, Illinois. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. Over to Steph.
Nice, Jimmy. That was nice. Just want world peace. Darn, I missed my own super chat. Chicago was counting on Infinity COVID money to pay for the deficit since they sold off everything else. Need a promotion? Soon to be many career opportunities located around the Gaza Strip. Giraffe. All right, let's see what else I got going here. Oh. All right, I got nothing. Jimmy, you ready? What's this one? Oh. Okay. Hey, you want to come and check out some of our shows? Go to jimmydore.com. Go to tour, and you'll see all of our shows.
So